Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James. It's time for another installment of the Accelerated Dragon. How are you going to play it? Well, today's lesson, we're going to be looking at another idea with playing pawn to d5. Now, we talked about the idea of d5 quite a bit, but this one's a little bit different because it looks like d5 cannot get played. But, in fact, you can play it. Let's go and take a look at this idea. Here we start with e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, pawn to g6 right here, starting the Accelerated Dragon. Knight c3, bishop g7, bishop e3, knight f6, bishop c4. This is one of the main lines, the bishop c4 variation. And, well, castles, bishop b3. And here black tries the idea again, the a5 variation. So a5, white plays pawn f3. And at this point, you think, well, what does black play now? Typically in the other a5 variation, they would play pawn a4, and then after you would take, well, then we could take on e4. Well, this f3 move says, well, you can't do that anymore. That's why I played it. And so here you actually get to play the amazing move of, what do you guys think? What's the move here? Believe it or not, it's actually the pawn move of d5. This is one of the best moves in the position. This is even what computer's suggesting right now. And, well, at this point, it's pretty much equal here. Even though there's 1, 2, 3 different ways to capture, none of them are really going to be blowing black out the water, as black will get sufficient counterplay in these games. With that being said, in this game that we'll see, well, when black played this, white played the only variation that's really going to be bad for them. After this one, well, what do you play here? Well, I mean, I guess the other one that doesn't really ever get considered is the pawn takes on e4 here. But even then, I think here you just play the knight to b4. Yeah, and yeah, you should be able to get sufficient counterplay against this pawn. Knight d to e2, and here a4. And again, you'll see that the knight takes on d5 variation will come in. And it looks like black's getting plenty of compensation. In fact, computer's liking black's position quite a bit now. With that being said, the other variation we'll take a look at is, well, it's either knight takes d5 or bishop takes d5. Which one is it here? Well, here you actually have to play bishop takes d5. This is one of the best moves in the position and gives the best win ratio. And, well, after this, black can't really do the knight b4 variations like he was earlier because the bishop just simply comes back. And that's one of the whole ideas of why you play the bishop takes d5. You could just bring it back. And, well, I mean, I guess you can take here, but nothing really comes of it. You could take here with the pawn, or you could take here with the knight. Both of them are going to give you a good game. With that being said, in this game, white did not know how to play this, and they played the natural looking move, which is knight takes d5. And, well, now it's black to move, and he gets a very good game. Knight takes on d5. I mean, here there's no really good move for you. E takes on d5, and knight to b4. Here the d5 pawn is being under attack, and, well, there's only... actually, black's just doing good here. White can try to defend the pawn, as they did in this game, but they just get into trouble. Pawn c4 got played, and what do you play now here as black? This is a really cool move. Pawn to a4, and the bishop just retreats. Notice that if bishop takes on a4, this is a bad idea, as queen a5 does a double attack, not only attacking the bishop, but now we have some discovery attacks coming in here too. So, bishop c2, pawn to e5 exclam. Yeah, at this point, black just gets a great game here. Knight b5. Of course, if you try to en passant here, well, black to move and win. What's the tactic here to win? Simple chess. Here you just play bishop takes on d4. And if they do play bishop takes d4, we have queen takes on d4 with a knight takes c2 check. It's going to be game over here very soon. So white tried to play knight b5 here to hold everything together. But it's just simple chess here. Black to move and win. What do you play here? I do encourage you to push pause. All right, hopefully you found the move. Queen h4 check, just a simple double attack. The pawn on c4 is undefended. Bishop f2, queen takes on c4. Now again, we're having some problems here. Knight c2 check and knight takes d5, and the knight is hanging over here. Dear Lord, it's just game over here. The knight went to c3, and, well, what do you do whenever you have these kind of pieces in the way? You get rid of them. So we undermine it, and we play pawn to a3, bishop b3, and pawn takes on b2. Now, there was other moves that you could play here in this position. For instance, knight to d3 check is the top move. With that being said, if you can sacrifice your queen, I don't see why we wouldn't, right? So a takes on b2 here. Bishop takes, and of course we just make a queen. And this was the idea. After queen takes, knight c2 check, king over, knight takes, rook takes. And yeah, black's pieces are all good. In fact, they didn't really get to get developed yet, but they're going to be developed to their best squares. Bishop comes out to f5, already threatening rook f to c8, maybe even rook ac8 here. Maybe we can target this pawn. It's just white's pawn structure is just terrible, and the king's not in the best position here either. Plus, you're down the exchange. Pawn g4, question mark. Here we go. Develop with a threat. Rook fc8, bishop b3, bishop h6 check, king e2. Of course, there's no good square for this king to move, where they're going to be defending the knight, and defending here just loses the game. Bishop takes, king takes, rook takes, and, well, yeah, just bad stuff is going to happen here. So the king went ahead and tried to go to e2, and after rook takes c3, pawn takes c3. Here, rook takes b3, it was game over. At this point, I think it's easy to see that white just tilted. There was nothing that they can do to hold on to the position. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a very interesting variation with the bishop c4 variation, or the modern variation, that, you know, even though they have covered the square a few times, you can still, in fact, play pawn to d5 here. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.